The alien woman carried an ancient power, a silent, screaming weight coiled within her soul. It was the echo of the lost world, the last resonance of a galaxy-spanning civilization obliterated by its own hubris. It was not a weapon, but a memory so profound it could unravel the fabric of lesser minds, a song that could harmonize or shatter reality itself. She had borne it for cycles, a living vessel for a dead empire's final lament. Hunted across star systems by those who feared its potential and craved its power, her pursuers were the Ascendancy, a rigid militaristic hegemony that viewed the Echo as an existential contaminant. They cornered her transport near a minor star system, its primary a dull orange ember. Her escape pod, a dented sphere of alloy and desperation, was fired toward the only marginally habitable world in range. A backwater planet logged in galactic surveys as TK771. Known locally as Earth, the pod tore through the atmosphere of the blue-green world, a failing meteor that crashed with a final, shuddering groan into a pine forest in a remote, mountainous region. The impact was not subtle. It carved a scar through the timber, scattering soil and shattered trunks. The vessel hissed, its hull breached, alien metals cooling in the unfamiliar air. He was there because he valued solitude. A human, living a life of quiet routine in a cabin he had built with his own hands, far from the noise of cities. The thunderous impact shook the ground and brought him running, not with a hero's courage, but with a practical man's concern for a forest fire. He found the crater, the alien metal, and the figure struggling from the wreckage. She was tall, her skin holding a subtle, opalescent sheen, her hair a cascade of filaments that seemed to capture the fading light. Her eyes, large and dark, held galaxies of pain. She stumbled, one arm clutched to her torso. When she saw him, she froze, a ripple of visible energy, a warping of the light around her, flickering uncontrollably. The pine needles near her feet turned to brittle glass and then to dust. "Stay back," she said, her voice a strained melody translated by a failing device on her wrist. "The resonance. It is unstable. It will break you." He did not run. He watched the light warp and crack the earth around her. He saw not a monster, but an injured creature in profound distress. "You're hurt," he said, his voice calm, a steady baritone against the whispering panic of the forest. "That doesn't look good." His mundane concern, so utterly divorced from the cosmic scale of her burden, was a shock that momentarily stilled the flickering power. He approached slowly, as he would approach a spooked deer, showing his empty hands. He saw her wound, a deep, burning lesion from an Ascendancy energy weapon. Without a word, he moved to the pod's wreckage, found a seam, and with a grunt of effort, tore a piece of shielding free. Using a knife from his belt, he cut a strip from his own shirt, bundled it, and offered it to her with a metal plate. "Pressure. Here." The instruction was simple, physical, grounding. She took the makeshift aid, her long fingers trembling. The act of applying pressure, of treating a physical injury, gave her mind a single point of focus. The wild energy receded, humming back inside her, a tempest forced into a bottle. "They are coming," she whispered. "They will scorch this world to cinders to retrieve what I carry." He looked up at the sky, then at the terror in her eyes. "Then we should get you underground." His cabin cellar was root-cooled and dark, lined with shelves of preserves and tools. He helped her down the rough stairs, her weight leaning on him. It was the first sustained contact. As his hand steadied her arm, something shifted. The screaming, seething power within her did not quiet, but its aimless fury found a direction. It flowed toward the solid, unshakable calm of the human beside her. It was not an attack, but a desperate, instinctual latching on, like a drowning swimmer grasping a rock. He felt it as a sudden, immense pressure in his mind, a cacophony of ancient songs and dying stars. He saw visions of crystal cities rising and falling in silent beams of light, felt the collective joy and despair of 1,000,000,000,000 souls. He gasped, staggering against an earthen wall. But he did not break. His mind, shaped by a lifetime of simple truths, of tangible problems with tangible solutions, of the slow patience of seasons and soil, did not unravel. It anchored. The alien woman stared at him, her eyes wide with awe. You are containing it. You are not a conduit. You are an anchor. The concept was almost mythical to her people. A consciousness so inherently stable, so grounded in its own reality, that it could hold the echo without being consumed by it. A bulwark against the tide. It's loud, he managed, shaking his head as if to clear water from his ears. Very, very loud. But it's just noise. Painful, sad noise. Above them, the sky began to throne. The Ascendancy warship, a sleek dagger of darkness, ascended silently over the forest, blotting out the stars. Scans pulsed downward, finding the crater, then tracing the path to the cabin. A voice, cold and amplified, echoed in the translated tongue of the forest creatures, demanding the surrender of the cosmic artifact. He looked at the woman, who was shrinking into herself, the weight of her responsibility crushing her anew. They will destroy everything, she said. He thought of his forest, the silent trees, the distant town in the valley. He thought of the deafening, beautiful sorrow now lodged in his own head. This was no longer her burden alone. He had become part of it. No, they won't, he said. The words were simple, but the conviction behind them was as solid as the earth beneath his feet. That conviction resonated through the anchor link. The echo, for the first time in millennia, was not just carried. It was held. He walked up the cellar stairs and out into the open, beneath the shadow of the warship. A beam of light pinned him, and a holographic projection of an Ascendancy commander, all sharp angles and cold eyes, materialized before him. Where is the vessel? The commander demanded. She is not a vessel, the human said, his voice carrying unnaturally far in the still air. And what she carries is not for you. It is a danger to all ordered life. Submitted for cleansing. You mean destroy it, the human said, like you destroyed its owners. It's not a weapon. It's a memory, and I won't let you erase it. The commander's disdain was palpable. You are an animal on a dirt world. You comprehend nothing. Your planet will be sterilized from orbit. The human closed his eyes. In the cellar, the alien woman did the same, tears streaming down her face. She did not push the power at him. Instead, she let go. She released her white-knuckled grip on the echo and let it flow fully into the anchor. The human opened his eyes. They did not glow. There was no visible spectacle, but the very quality of the world changed. The air grew heavy, thick with remembered antiquity. The light from the stars seemed older, colder. He spoke, and his voice was layered with the voices of the lost. You fear memory, the layered voice said, a chorus of whispers and sighs. Because memory judges. You, who build empires on the graves of others. You, who call cleansing what is merely fear. This memory is now under my protection. This world is under my protection. You will leave. The Ascendancy commander felt it first. The data streams in his ship wavered, filled with ghost signals. The faces of his crew on the hologram flickered, their features momentarily becoming those of long-dead aliens from the Echo's memory. A profound, existential vertigo, the weight of all that was lost, pressed down on their ordered minds. It was not an attack, but an overwhelming truth, a tide of context against which their rigid dogma was a sandcastle. On the ground, the human stood firm. He was the keystone. The unbearable, universe-spanning grief of the Echo flowed into him, and through him it was filtered. It did not break him, because he did not try to understand it all. He simply held it, allowing its truth to exist without being consumed by it. He grounded it in the reality of the cool night air, the scent of pine, the solid feel of the soil under his boots. The warship's engines, which had been humming with menace, stuttered. The hologram of the commander dissolved into static. A silent struggle played out in the void, a battle of psionic might against an immovable, grounded certainty. The Ascendancy had technology, weaponry, might, but they had no answer for anchor. To shatter him would be to release the echo unfiltered, a psychic supernova that would certainly destroy them and likely scar this quadrant of space forever. To claim it was impossible while he held it. With a sound like a sigh through the stars, the warship disengaged. It retreated from the atmosphere, its threat nullified not by force, but by an untenable paradox. The human had not fought them. He had simply stood, and in standing, made their objective impossible. The pressure lifted. The layered voices faded back to a murmur, then a whisper in the back of his mind. He sagged to his knees, sweat cooling on his brow. Exhaustion deep in his bones thought the alien woman emerge from the cabin, moving to his side. She knelt, her opalescent hand resting on his shoulder. The link between them was permanent now, a quiet channel where the vast ocean of the echo could flow, its storms calmed by the steadfastness of his shore. "They are gone," she said softly. "They will not return. They have no doctrine for what you are." He looked at her, then at the sky where the ship had vanished. "What now?" "Now," she said, a faint, weary smile touching her lips, "you learn to live with the universe inside you. And I learn what it is to not carry it alone." She helped him to his feet. "The anchor and they,"